Aloha, everyone. Lena coming to you from the Hawaiian Kingdom. So it's as gorgeous as you would imagine. And I've been for a swim this morning, which is why the hair's upside down, but it was beautiful. So I'm hanging out and later this afternoon going to a Hawaiian music festival, which should be good. I'm looking forward to that. So it's all go. But you're never far from my thoughts. So let's dive in and see what's happening with the news this week. So, swings and roundabouts, wins and losses. The Supreme Court has okayed for the unpronounceable abortion drug, what is it called? Mifepristone, to stay on the market for now. That's important for now. And I had a little giggle. Do you remember the truly awful Ann Coulter? I used to call her the she-wolf of the GOP. Remember, long blonde hair, and she was far right, and she supported Donald Trump, and then she wrote a book, Why Everyone Should Support Him. Then she wrote another book, Why Everyone Shouldn't Support Him. Anyway, she came out this week saying, really, the abortion ban should apply only to registered Republicans. I never thought I'd agree with Ann Coulter, but there you go. Only registered Republicans need apply. You know. Yep. So now, here we go. Let's dive in immediately to Fani Willis because there's yet more developments. We've been hovering, waiting. She did use the term indictments were imminent. That was months ago now. So let's have a look what's happening with that case, because the news this morning said they've got hold of the Yeti's text messages, and they are even more damning than the phone call to Raffensperger. So let's have a look at the texts now and how they may impact on Fani's case. Let me just make a bit of space here. Oh, so exciting being in Honolulu. One of those magic names, isn't it? Oh, Fani, there she is. There we go. Oh, women, women, women. Very interesting. What then? Okay, so let's kick off with Fani herself here as the chief legal eagle, right? She's come out first. But there are two other queens. In other words, 5 cards. I have pulled 3 queens. Statistically, that's ridiculous, and I love it when those things happen. So the other 2 queens, Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Wands. Okay. Pentacles ruled by Earth. They are about money. They're about our values. They're about real estate. They're about upholding things that are near and dear, like elections. Then we've got the Queen of Wands. She's more outspoken than the other queens. I think she's more outspoken than Fani. So this is another woman. You might like to suggest to me who this is. She may or may not be legal in terms of a presiding judge or prosecutor. She might be somewhere in the system. It could even be a news anchor that cracks this story open, or something. There's something about the media in this that could happen with this story. Now, back to Fani. She is an extremely well-balanced person. This is her represented by Temperance here. A bit frustrating. She's still keeping the cards too close to her chest for us, really. Isn't it time? Go for it, Fani. But what I'm getting from all these other queens is new developments. And this could be upping the charges now. Let's have a look at that. Is that what the holdup is? Are the charges changing? Because she's going after the false electors, which are really important because that's out and out fraud. as well as the Yeti, as well as all those who acted on his behalf. So it's a sprawling case, and I'm wondering if there isn't a new dimension. So let's have a look. I'm leaving those cards down. We're going deeper into this. What's the update on this case? All right, so yes, there is an evaluation going on. I think because it's the same for Jack Smith, it's the same for Alvin Bragg, and it's the same for Barney Willis. Because this is happening for the first time on this level of an ex-pres, they're evaluating the charges again. How far can they go? This is money along with 10 of Pentacles. This to me smacks of racketeering. I quite like the R word there. It could be conspiracy or racketeering or something more specifically related to money. So far, the system is holding up. Here's the old Hierophant doing its bit to try and make people feel safe in a very chaotic world. This, to me, is the positive aspect of the Hierophant. There's also a King of Wands here. Remember, just before we had the Queen, now there's the King of Wands. This could be someone who turns evidence, I think, for the prosecutorial side. I think this is a previous Trump lackey. I've never been fond of this King of Wands so much. Not as bad as the King of Pentacles, but there's a bit about him I'm not comfortable with, bit flashy, bit out there. So I think this is quite a high profile turn. Wouldn't that be good? We can just hope for the best. Now, in other news, of course, people keep getting shot for the smallest transgression. And you had 2 cheerleaders getting shot in Texas because one of them tried to get in the wrong car in a car park. Shot. I think they're in hospital. I don't think they're dead. Then a 20-year-old Kaylin Gillis was shot and killed in Washington County. She just drove into the wrong driveway. Boom. I don't think the Wild West was as mad as it is now. I think there were sort of, more checks and balances then, back in the day. It's just crazy. And of course, Ralph Yule is symbolic of being shot twice for ringing the doorbell. Freedom, liberty, not seeing it. And I think that case is starting to be made by middle-of-the-road people of saying this isn't making us more free. There's a revelation for you. So that's important. Now, coming back here, the DeSantis Disney and the DeSantis Yeti showdown. Look, the Yeti's actually probably doing more good now than he has in all his previous incarnations. If he manages to stamp out DeSantis, because he's not the Yeti himself, excuse me, even if he's still there running, he's not going to get elected. So one commentator said, DeSantis is so out of control, he makes Trump look like the grown-up in the room. Never thought we'd see that. I think that's a bridge too far, but it's nonetheless interesting. So DeSantis is losing ground. Let's have a look at Florida and Florida voters. Do they think he's great? He's just being really strong? Or are they over it? And the Yeti's making the case that Florida is so expensive to live in and all those things. So how are Floridians? Obviously, they're not one block, but let's ask, how are GOP Floridians feeling? What's going on for them? Are they still happy little campers? Are they beginning to have a thought? Imagine that. They might have an idea that's independent. Okay, let's have a look. GOP Florida. How are you guys doing? Here we go. Now, the Hierophant that we just had before in its positive incarnation, until I pull more cards, we don't know if this is the supportive Hierophant or the repressive Hierophant. Oh, there wait a minute. Huh. Oh, this is interesting. This is very interesting. Here's the story as I see it. Okay. They voted for DeSantis. Yeah. The guy who says the most hardline, nasty things, for some reason, will always be attractive to like 25% of the population because people misinterpret belligerence as strength. I grew up in a fascist state in Australia. We had our very own Yeti for many years. And the more delirious he was, the more hardline he was, the more people liked him. And we had to deal with that for years and years until people woke up. At the moment, they're keeping their powder dry. They're not rushing out to support him. But here's the thing. This is sort of, in a way, representing retirees in Florida. You know, they've gone there for the good life in the sun, and they're not that happy. They're beginning to get a new perspective, see the halo. It's just at a beginning. What they're seeing with this anti-Disney stuff, he's now made it easier to implement the death penalty. It doesn't have to be a unanimous jury anymore. Let's make it easy to kill other people and then say we're pro-life. Can anyone explain to me how on earth that works? Here's the fabulousness of America, what it truly represents, which is bigger than the sum of its parts. This is the radiant light on the hill type America that they feel they're losing. These guys are feeling they're losing that a bit. And you know what? It's beginning to have an impact. They're now confused. Oh, I can't bring myself to vote Democrat. Let's hope, let us hope that that's going to be a very common reaction. And when it comes to 2024, they just don't turn out to vote at all. Wouldn't that be bliss? Let's program that to the universe, and we put it in terms of the higher good for the country. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay. So what I want to do now is just have a general look at how Dem voters are feeling and travelling. This is the whole nation. So it's lots of you guys who are Dem voters anyway, or independents who are voting now because you understand how critical this time in history is, or your blue dots in a red sea. This is a little read for you guys. What do you guys need to hear to stay strong? Can we have a mini read here, please? Mini read for you guys. Oh, look, I love that. That is so beautiful. Okay, we've had temperance twice today, so let's have a good look. Temperance is about balance and harmony and all things in moderation. The road to enlightenment is with being balanced in your life. Now, you see she's got one tootsie in the water, one on land. Now, for those learning tarot, water is symbolic of all those watery, wonderful things. It's mysticism, it's imagination, it's the esoteric, It's the dream world. It's the creative. Everything gorgeous in that way, and a foot in the real world, because we have to go to work and pay our bills and get on with it. So that's the foot on land, which is the practical everyday world, but it's asking you to keep a foot in both worlds, in your day and in your week. So maybe beef up your spiritual practice a bit. Find like-minded friends and acquaintances, even if that's online. Everyone needs support to get through this. If you're isolated, you feel, what can I do? I'm just one person. I'm just one vote. It's just me. No, this is important. Ally yourself with people who think as you do, and it helps you stay strong and stay clear and have little rests, or even big rests. I'm about to have a nap myself before the festival. Lying down and really thinking inwardly, like it's the bookends here. This requires some deep thinking. The church window's symbolic of spiritual ideas. So if your church is a supportive space for you, that's fine, whatever that denomination or religion may be. If it isn't, it doesn't matter. It's just about the inspiration of the higher force. See, she's saying, so taking breaks from all the ugly stuff and contemplating beauty. With this card too, you might decide to write a poem. You might pick up the guitar you haven't touched for 25 years. You might enroll in a painting course at your local evening college sort of place. Think of something arty, crafty. Have you said to yourself, I always wanted to learn how to do quilting, but never did? Think about something creative. Dancing. You don't have to be the best dancer in the world. You don't auditioning for Footloose. Get up and do some dancing. You will benefit from this. Guys, I love you. Mahalo. And tomorrow I'm off to Portland. So my next video will be from Portland, Oregon. Bye for now. Ciao.